It's Sunday night, and you all know what that means. The first week of college is officially over. I've got to admit, college was a lot of things that I expected and a lot of things that I didn't. For example, I expected the classes to be difficult and there to be homework, but I didn't expect there to be so many lizards. I mean, guys, there are so many lizards. I was walking to class one day and I look over on this tree and there's this huge lizard. It's like this big, like, sort of like pet lizard sized thing, and I'm just like, what is that? Why aren't there any people that I can show this lizard to? And so I try to take out my phone to take a picture, and he just scampers away. He was surprisingly fast for a lizard. But yeah, college is just full of the unexpected, and that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about today. So, other than that first giant lizard, I have seen several other lizards, or else I wouldn't talk about them. So, another lizard I saw when I was walking to my class, and he was just kind of perched on the side of the thing, and I'm just like, oh, hello, little lizard. I hope you have a good day. And then another time, I was walking out of my class, and I was kind of, going along, and then something tells me to look down, and I look down, and there's this, like, translucent tiny lizard that would have been right where I would have put my foot if I hadn't looked down, and I'm like, ah, God of lizards, you have saved this precious being. So that lizard went on to live another day, which I'm pretty happy with. When you're getting squished all the time in college, it's nice to also not squish other things. So lizards were fun. Another really interesting thing that happened was on Wednesday. So I haven't made a video about what my Wednesday schedule, but all you need to know is it is super long. It is insanely long. I am at school from 10 a.m. to like 8 p.m. It is insanely long for a college schedule. I have like a 2-hour break in the middle, and that's it. And when I got to my lab at like 5:30, I think, I'm just dead, I've gone through the entire day, and it's just been really rough, and I'm just desperately looking for a way for this lab to be interesting or cool. And so the professor goes up to the board and starts talking about it, and I see that it's basic electricity laws. And so I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And then lightning strikes outside, and you hear the thunder, and I'm like, oh, now we're talking. And so while the professor was talking about electricity, nature decided that it would give a little bit of its own example of electricity. And throughout the entire lab, I think pretty much all of us were like silently hoping that something would happen with the thunder or the electricity, but nothing did. So all that ended up happening was when we finally got out of the lab into the beautiful night, and by beautiful I mean stormy and rainy and humid. Everyone was just kind of tired. But I made the best of the situation. As I was walking back to my dorm, I passed 2 people, and whenever I passed by them, I said, hey, lovely weather we're having. And they always laughed, which, when you're not that funny is always a plus. So then another thing that happened this week was this whole setup with this group. And I've been trying to look for friends because it's my first week of college. But this group is interesting because I put in the Honors Village group chat 1,000 kids, and we have one group chat. It is insane. I put in there like, hey, does anyone want to go play cards in like the second floor rec room? And 2 people responded, I think, and said they would. So I get up, I go over there, and when I look in, I see a bunch of people crowded around, and then I look a little closer, and I see that they're playing an anime fighting game. called Jump Force. And just a little bit of context, I am an anime nerd. I am someone who has watched a fair amount of anime. And this is a game that I had only heard of in like legends and stories of the great anime video games. And so seeing it in like real life, I was in shock because I was just over here expecting to go play Extreme Uno or something. But I opened the door and everyone's like, oh, come on in. And everyone's all super nice. There's about 6 people there. And so I go in and I get to just, be with these people for about like a couple of hours or so, playing this anime fighting game. And I got a turn on it once, but I am garbage at these sorts of things, so I mostly watched and commentated. But it was fun. And then at the end of the day, like they had talked about throughout, like, hey, we got to add you to this like JoJo watch party group chat. And JoJo, for those who don't know, is one of the best anime out there. You should watch it if you haven't. It's got a really cool style, and it's a really good show. But anyway, they're like, hey, we have this JoJo watch party, we should add you to the group chat. And they said that like 2 times, I think, during the course of the evening. And, but at the end, we all went our separate ways, and I didn't get added to the thing. So I just kind of was like, oh, well, guess that didn't work out. Back to my boring life. But the next day, when I came back from one of my classes, that like the entire section of the honors village that I live in goes to, one of the guys from the previous night comes over and stops me, and he's like, hey, I have to add you to that group chat, we forgot. And I'm like, whoa, wait, you're telling me you actually want me in your group? This is a mistake. But we got me added to the group chat, and then I was actually able to go to the very first JoJo watch party that was this Saturday, or I guess it was kind of the second, but it was the first one that a majority of the group came to. And when I went there, instead of there just being like the 6 people that I had known, there started out with like 10 people, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll learn a few more people, that's fun. But then as the night kept progressing, more and more people kept walking by and giving us these looks like, oh, what is going on in there? And more people would open the door, and we would all be like, come on in, we're watching JoJo. And you would get a combination of responses that were either like, what is JoJo? Or, oh my gosh, I love that show. Or, oh, that could be fun, I guess. And so we just got this huge, like this little room filled with all these people, to the point where there were a bunch of seats, like couches and such, but we had it so full that no seats were left, and some people had to stand. It was crazy. And when we ended, we got even more people added to that group chat. And there's going to be another one of those watch parties on Monday, which I'm excited about. But that's the whole JoJo community thing. We'll see if it works out or not. Who knows, but I'm hoping it does. Everyone there seems pretty cool. Another thing that I've been struggling with throughout this week is the mail. And this is kind of a weird situation because I didn't have that much mail to me. I had a few packages that I was expecting, but I kept getting an email that kept saying, like, hey, you need to pick up this package. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't order anything. So I keep going down, and they keep being like, well, there's this package with no number on it. And that's weird. And so they would keep, going into the back room and looking around for, like, it ranged from, like, 1 to, like, 10 minutes. And then they would come back, and they'd be like, I'm sorry, I don't know where it is. And this went on for like 3 days. I kept going down like, hey, I got another email, so I guess there's something new. And they'd be like, oh, and it's always a new person, so they don't know the situation. So they look it up, and they're like, oh, there's no number. And then they go back, inevitably, and they look, and then they come back, and they're like, I can't find it. And this happened over and over and over and over again until I finally go today. And I'm like, okay, I've had this happen 3 times. Can we please figure out what's going on? So we have the person email their boss, who then emails me, and we all find out that it's just this whole big error that has been made, and there is no package. So it turns out the mysterious unnumbered package was actually thin air. But that was definitely an experience, and a lot of walking up and down the stairs for no reason. And yeah, that was pretty much most of my week. And except for one kind of important thing, which is only important if you really know me really well, and if you don't, then it's not. But, okay, so the way this works is there are meal swipes that we have, and they're each worth $10, okay? But you have this certain amount of meal swipes, and they expire at the end of each week, at like Monday at 4 a.m. And so the goal becomes, if you have extra meal swipes before, like on Sunday, you need to use them all. And so today I had a few extra meal swipes. And so that kind of made it the best day ever, because what I did with those meal swipes is I bought a whole bunch of Mountain Berry Blast Powerade. And Mountain Berry Blast Powerade is the best drink in the world. You can't tell me anything else. It is amazing. And I was able to get a whole 5 of them for free, essentially. And so now they're just kind of sitting in my fridge, waiting to be devoured later, which is an exciting thought for me. It's something to really look forward to, what you need in college. So yeah, that was my week. If you have any interesting stories about something that happened to you this week, let me know in the comments below. I love reading comments and I love responding to them. It's really nice to have this small community because we can, keep responding to everything, which is really cool. And yeah, that's it. Comment, like, subscribe, yada yada, but most of all, have a great day. You guys deserve it. Bye.